You're listening to the Belmar Bytes podcast, brought to you by Belmar Consulting. Hey, Matt, welcome back. We are doing episode 18, Belmar Bytes episode 18, and excited to be back. We had a little hiatus last week with our commitments at Dreamforce in San Francisco, but we're back and excited for this episode. So first off, how you doing? How's the week going?
Doing good. It's still a bit of recouping from what was a crazy week at Dreamforce, but man, it was amazing. It was an amazing time. Salesforce does a fantastic job at just the organization, just every single, and you can certainly speak to this, but every single hotel, every single restaurant, every single thing that you step into is Salesforce. It's Dreamforce related. So they have somehow cracked the code on how to get everybody all on board here. But yeah, how's your Dreamforce, Scott? This is what number was this for you?
Yeah, I was telling people when I was there last week, I think it's number 8, but I'd have to go through my calendar and try to figure out how many it is. But yeah, it was I mean, there was a bunch before pre-COVID, or before COVID, I should say, and then this is my, I guess, second or third after COVID. But the dates are fuzzy and the memory is fuzzy on the number. I could probably think better in terms of how many concerts have I been to at Dreamforce. And that said, I didn't go to either of them this year, but that was fine. I think one of the things I just walked away from Dreamforce again in awe of is how they organize that event. It's just so big, and as you said, every single hotel for kind of blocks is sort of wrapped in Dreamforce colors. And you and I were chatting about it when we were in San Francisco together. Just even outside of Moscone Center, they're detailed enough to think about where should Uber and Lyft pickups be, and they've got signage on the side of the street for this. So it's I can't imagine the undertaking it would be to put this whole thing together, but thankfully that's not something I have to worry about. I just get to go and enjoy it and participate in it. And we had a great time with customers. We had a great time with partners, and we had an awesome time with our colleagues at Salesforce. And but we've got some predictions that we talked about in our last episode that we need to validate who was right. How close did we get? What are the outcomes from the prediction show that we did a couple of weeks back? So why don't you kick us off? You kick us off.
Sure. Okay. So here, I've got this open here because I don't want to make things up, but we had prediction number 1. Scott had predicted in our last episode a major expansion of the Google and Salesforce, Google-Salesforce partnership, which Sundar was presenting at the keynote.
To me, it was just so obvious that was going to happen. So that was the first one.
Okay. I predicted Agentforce 3.0 following the prior naming convention, as well as Slack as the front door, or Slack as the main interface. So that was my second and third prediction. And then you had doubled down on just everything Agentforce, agentic. As well.
Yeah, I can't remember, actually. I'd have to go back and listen to our previous pod, because in my notes I had 3 predictions, but then I also had some notes here that I was reading about that last one that you referenced, which is the agentic, everything just being Agentforce and being agentic. So let's say we had 4.
Sure.
How do we do? So I can answer. Maybe I'll answer mine and you can answer yours. So I'll start. The keynote was on Tuesday, and Sundar was on Thursday, I believe, when Mark Benioff did a fireside chat with him. It was either Wednesday or Thursday, but Tuesday I was expecting big announcement out of Mark Benioff and out of Salesforce regarding Google. Turns out that announcement was not with Google; it was with OpenAI. So I was a little off, but I guess I was in the ballpark in terms of just making an announcement with one of the a large vendors, AI vendors, and I was a little surprised that it wasn't Google, just given as we've already talked that Sundar was a guest, and must have been kind of a weird experience for him in terms of, hey, we made this big announcement with OpenAI, but maybe to soften the blow a bit. I also read, I didn't actually hear this while I was there last week, but I read they also made an announcement with Anthropic. So there's it's kind of, I guess, a divide and conquer strategy. They're using different technology for different use cases, but yeah, OpenAI was the big one last week. So, what about you? Agentforce 3.0 was the prediction.
Yeah,
Where did
so I
it
was
land?
off by about 2 numbers here. I was just missing the 6. So they introduced Agentforce 360, which I expected, as many did, that a new iteration of Agentforce would come out, but it came packed with pretty powerful new functionality, and we got to see it. One of the predictions that I didn't mention that I had made, so I'll give myself a kudos here, was using voice as a medium through Agentforce, and more a different medium than just text-based, chat-based. So that was also released as well, being able to interact and pass through media and generate media, which is really exciting for Agentforce 360. One other thing that they introduced too was Agentforce Vibes, which I didn't predict that, but that is pretty in line with a lot of what's happening within the AI, let's call it revolution, if you will, around vibe coding, natural language processing, just being able to interact and develop through an agent. So uh, I'll give myself half a point, off by a couple numbers.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I can jump in on that. I remember we met with our leadership team 6 months ago. We talked about the day will come when a customer can type into a prompt and configure Salesforce, and I wasn't sure how that would manifest itself. But, it seems like V1 of that has been announced, in, Agentforce Vibes. So, I haven't actually had my hands on the keyboard to see what this looks like yet, but it's gonna be interesting to see, what this looks like. And, I think for us, Matt, we've certainly have talked about it, certainly as a hedge. How do we you know, the a lot of the value we bring to the customer is our knowledge of how to configure Salesforce, sort of the sort of vast array of
Mhm.
projects we've worked on, and just the knowledge that we've gained in doing that. And in part, that's what they're paying for, is that knowledge that we can impart in their organization. And if a customer can now just prompt, then what's the value of a Salesforce partner? And I think the counter to that is what I heard, not so much announced at Dreamforce, but just even talked about. Just it was actually addressed. I think Mark Benioff may have addressed it, but I remember just bumping into Salesforce folks and other partners on the street and having conversations, and the direction that AI is going, like, this is there's really no finish line where, an implementation of a project, if I'm moving over, say, from Razor's Edge to Salesforce, well, there's a sort of a clear start and end date to what that project would look like. Um, but with Agentforce, it's an iteration, and it just keeps evolving. And so, perhaps some of our concern of, if there's Agentforce Vibes, if that shows up, what does that mean for us as an organization, and really our uh, value that we bring to a customer? But with the direction things are going here, Agentforce Vibes feels like, it's gonna enable admins to do some of the work maybe that we have done historically, but there's just this whole new array of things that customers are going to be leaning on us and looking to us for support on. And so it's pretty exciting to see all the evolution that's happening so quickly.
Yeah, I think as a partner, certainly it can be a scary, but it's a very exciting announcement actually, because it is just so much faster to get to a value state. If everybody's off of the same baseline and is able to, we really get the opportunity to focus on what we do best, which is industry knowledge, best practices, and being able to map out that longer term vision. But if Agentforce Vibes or agents that are going to be deployed on the app exchange, can get somebody to 0 to 1 faster, well, then we can just run alongside them as long as there's some sort of consistency there. So I think it actually equips people. It's kind of like you're increasing the competency and capability out of the box as well. So I'm excited about it. And I think there's going to be some people that will be able to get along and kind of ride along and really just get more value for customers and clients as well. But again, this is a revolution in that this is the way things are going to go and naturally evolve. People still treasure and cherish the insights and the relationships and the
Of
trust that
course.
they have, and that's not going away. Which is really just a kind of a good segue into how I think partners and how we're responding as well. I think the starting point, rather than spending 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks to get somebody from 0 to 1, running alongside a client in almost like a managed services capacity, or what we would call hypercare capacity, it really just enables us to help them and assist them to get them to that starting point where they're doing the brunt of that lifting as well. So again, I think this is faster speed to value or time to value, and it's really exciting. It gives an admin a lot of really amazing tools that they'll be able to utilize here as well. But I digress. That's back to our predictions there. So uh, was it your prediction now, Scott?
Well, you know what? In the order in which we've got them in the Google Doc, you're up next with Slack.
Mm. So I said Slack is the front door. There was a iteration of that where Slack is the agentic operating system. So I I expected as much that Slack would be brought to the forefront, and primarily because when we think about chat-based interface or voice-based interfaces, Slack is such an easy and intuitive platform. We use that as an organization as well, and it is so easy to communicate that way. It just strips away any barrier to being able to be lockstep with your team, with your customers as well, and be on the go. So what Salesforce had released and shown through demos was just this increase in user interface or improvement to user interface for Slack, the introduction of agents into Slack, which was already prevalent, but an even deeper dive into that. And they're placing a big bet on Slack as the agentic operating system here. My thinking here is that they will effectively be able to copy and paste what you can be doing inside Salesforce, but just on the go via Slack, while still nurturing that same rich data set that is Salesforce. So the sales team that's on the road, or the fundraiser that's on the road, they can do everything that they need to do from not even just opening Salesforce, the app, just Slack, and punching up messages. You've now stripped down the time to log in, time to authenticate, time to update records. You just send a message, and it's all being done for you. So um, again, half a point for me here.
Oh, no. Well, actually, I would give you full marks for that one
Full
because,
marks? Okay.
yeah, I mean, you called it. It was in the notes. Your prediction was Slack as the true AI command center or the front door, and I don't know what Salesforce officially are calling this, but yeah, based on demos that we saw, I can just type into Slack. Hey, give me the last three donations that this customer that I'm going to visit has made to the organization. And, previously that was done through a report. You'd have to log into Salesforce, find the right report, click it, set the date parameters, and hit run, and it would give you the data. But now this is the front door to all of that rich data, and so yeah, I would say you were bang on. And let's finish with the fourth one, and then we can talk about what our favorite uh, sort of takeaway or favorite announcement was. The fourth one I made, which was the dawn of the agentic everything, or the just the everything agent force. And I mean, over the last actually, it was interesting. I was just googling something, and I actually, oddly enough, there was a tweet that I had made a year ago before Dreamforce, just in terms of my prediction. And I had three predictions. It was Agent Force, Agent Force, and Agent Force. And while that was somewhat true last year, it was even more true this year, which, like, every single thing was Agent Force. And an example, and for those that have been to Dreamforce, pardon me, and or they've just been to a Salesforce office and or they've been using Salesforce long enough, you've seen the little characters that make their way into the product and make their way into their marketing material. Uh, some of those characters are no longer, at least there was no evidence of them. Everything is now just an agent character. And so I was in a conversation with somebody who had said Dream Salesforce, and I guess by extension, sort of at Dreamforce, there was like little to no reference of even Einstein, which they made a big splash a number of years ago, utilizing that name and sort of baking that into their product. That seems to also be gone, and it's just everything is Agent Force. So um, they the slogan that Mark Benioff kicked off the main keynote with was, "Welcome to the agentic enterprise." And so the future, it is very clear, the future for Salesforce is agentic, and it's uh, it's going to be a wild ride. And I mean, I just think back over the years of the 15 years we've been a Salesforce partner, and just the transformation and change that's happened. Um, I mean, a big one, like, and this was like caused a lot of people a lot of maybe not sleepless nights, but just concern, was the move from Classic to Lightning. There was,
Mm.
big
Yeah.
transition around that. A lot of money was spent by customers sort of upgrading and moving in the direction uh, of the Lightning experience. And this to me is, orders of magnitude larger in terms of what's going to happen over the next 5 years with Agent Force. And so it's been interesting over the last year. Just customers, many not even really aware. Maybe they've probably seen the marketing material, but maybe they've had conversations with their account executives. But there's been no sort of outbound in our direction where they've said like, "Hey, help me understand this." That's starting with our customer cohort, and it's that's how these things really start. They start with an announcement, there's a little bit of conversation, and that slowly builds, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's, now everybody is talking about the next wave, which I think we're getting pretty close to that tipping point.
Yeah, that's a really good example. The move from Classic to Lightning. I even just think back many years ago, a lot of the hesitation around that was, well, uh, this is slower and this is new. Some of the stuff's not supported, and while it's similar and just in terms of there is people absolutely that will need to change here, organizations that will need to change. I think this one is so much, like you said, just so much larger, primarily because um, the AI, let's call it revolution or changes within the AI landscape are just rapidly changing. So things become stable so much faster. And I mean, when Agent Force was released, there was still a lot unknown, but over that last 1 year, 2 years, there's been so much widespread adoption and also just so much evolution in AI tools. I look at everything that I'm getting is there is a new AI tool spun up for it. So there's so many more reps on this, whereas I contrast that to, and the big difference between Classic to Lightning is it was largely user interface and the foundational, like how do you build on this? This is so much different, and it's completely linked to just forces even outside of Salesforce too. So that's the exciting part about this. And I think what we're seeing is people are being incented, early movers and early adopters are really being able to see that value so much sooner as well. So I think if anything, now's the time not to wait on the sidelines and wait for something stable, because the rate of adoption, the rate of change is so fast that it's better to be in and understanding and rolling it out so that you can focus on things like, how do I improve my agentic workflow? Like, I think it's going to be more just workflow design and workflow definition now, uh,
Yeah.
than in the past. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so let's do this. We had four predictions. The first one was the partnership, or I predicted a partnership with Google. That didn't happen, so we'll give it maybe a half point on that one. You predicted Agent Force 3.0, uh, half point, because it was obvious that they were coming out with some new version, but you got your numbering a little wrong. which is fine. They actually even moved away from the incremental of
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and they just went right for 360, which they've done before, with customer 360 and others.
Yeah.
So they're that's just so obvious that they just see this thing as it's being pervasive. It's everywhere within the platform. But we'll give you half marks on that. Slack is the front door, full marks.
Great.
That was you nailed that one, and then the last one, which was everything is Agent Force. I think in fairness to myself, will give myself full marks. So, we scored evenly. What was your like of the four, what are you most excited about?
Yeah. All of them. No, just kidding. I think I'm really excited about the Slack as the front door, Slack as the operating system. And not just because I love using Slack, but because I've seen it change over the years too. And I've used so many collaboration and communication tools. And to see the evolution of this on something that is so easy to use right in front of you, I mean, I think it's going to be game changing. And I don't
Yeah,
say that, I don't say that lightly. I love Slack.
yeah,
Slack is the most premium and best experienced product that I've used for collaboration over all of my time using collaboration tools. So I'm excited about that one.
yeah, yeah. Well, listen, I would concur. I think that one is going to knock down so many barriers that exist. Um, where even internally, I mean, we specialize in Salesforce. But, and sometimes it's just, where's that report? Oh, like what was, where do I go find that information? I find that happening to myself maybe more often than I would like. Uh, if I can just feed it now into a prompt, and again, I haven't tested this, but my expectation, let's call it, is that provided I provide a clear prompt, Slack is going to go and figure that out for me. Wow, that's just gonna be insane. So, I can't wait for that for our own use, but I also can't wait for that, for our customers, 'cause I think it's a maybe it's an unwritten rule that, sort of the human psychology is if the barrier is too high, I'm just not gonna use that particular feature. Maybe I don't understand it. Maybe it's not configured the right way. Maybe it is configured the right way, and it's just simply I didn't know it existed. Now, if I can just throw things through a prompt at Salesforce,
Yeah.
let Slack figure out, am I crazy for asking the question that way? And come back to me with, well, hey, did you mean this? And what about this idea? So, I just think it's going to unlock so much value from within this existing Salesforce investment that our customers have made.
Totally.
Uh, so if you're not using Slack, but you are using Salesforce, here's a plug. Go get Slack, and you need to get started with getting your team ramped up on this. It's very very easy to ramp up on, but my goodness, if once it's fully integrated to Salesforce, watch out.
Yeah.
So.
Totally.
Alrighty. Well, Matt, why don't we call it at that? I think we've covered the highlights from Dreamforce. Now it's digesting all of this, and it's going and working with our customers to help them understand it. And I do want to just give a quick shout out to we had some customers that came to San Francisco last week. It was great to connect. It was really great to connect with many of our I would call them friends and colleagues at Salesforce, and it was great also just to have some of our team down there and just got a chance to hang out
Yeah.
and focus on what's coming next with Salesforce. So thanks for doing that last week, Matt, and thanks for doing the pod here this week. Always fun doing these, and we'll wrap on that.
Great. Thanks, Scott. We'll talk to you soon.
This has been another episode of Belmar Bytes, brought to you by Belmar Consulting. You can follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or on our website at belmarcloud.com.